Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhare Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhare Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhare Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhare Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Rama, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Vallabha Radhe, Jaya Radha Vallabha Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra Devi. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Nitai Gaura Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaura Hare Bol. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Jaya Om Vishnupadaya Paramahamsa Parivarakaracarya Astotara Abhaya Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Founder-Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Bala Bhagavani ki jai. Narsingha Bhagavani ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. So today we are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 7. We are going to start a new chapter today. Text number 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, this is chapter 7 of 9th canto, the first text. So before we read the text, we see the overview of this chapter. Yeah, we'll read quickly and then we'll take text number 1. Lot of names will be coming up, so we are going to discuss on that, in the lecture. Why these names? So many names are coming up. In this chapter, the descendants of King Mandata are described, and in this connection, the histories of Purukursha and Harichandra are also given. The most prominent son of Mandata are Ambarisa. His son was Yavanasva, and Yavanasva's son was Harita. These three personalities were the best in the dynasty of Mandata. Purukursha, another son of Mandata, married the sister of the snakes, Sarpagana, named Narmada. The son of Purukursha was Trasadasyu, whose son was Anaranya. Anaranya's son was Hariyasva. Hariyasva's son was Praruna. Praruna's son was Tribandana. And Tribandana's son was Satyavrata, also known as Trisangu. When Trisangu kidnapped the daughter of a Brahmana, his father cursed him for a sinful act, and Trisangu became a Sandala, worse than a Sudra. Later, by the influence of Vishwamitra, he was brought to the heavenly planet, but by the influence of the demigod, he fell back downwards. He was stopped in his fall, however, by the influence of Vishwamitra. The son of Trisangu was Harichandra. Harichandra once performed a Rajasuya Yagya, but Vishwamitra cunningly took all the Harichandra's possession as a dakshina contribution and chastised Harichandra in various ways. Because of this, a quarrel arose between Vishwamitra and Vasishta. Harichandra had no sons, but on the advice of Narada, he worshipped Varuna, and in this way he got a son called Rohita. Harichandra promised that Rohita would be used to perform a Varuna Yagya. Varuna reminded Harichandra repeatedly about this Yagya, but the king, because of his affection for his son, gave various arguments to avoid sacrificing him. Thus, time passed, and gradually the son grew up. To safeguard his life, the boy then took up bow and arrow in his hand and went to the forest. Meanwhile, at home, Harichandra suffered from dropsy because of an attack from Varuna. You know what is dropsy? It's a disease where you see that the skin is covered with liquid. You see sometimes people, too much of liquid because he was cursed by Varuna. It will be all swollen. All the skin will be swollen with fluids. So Harichandra suffered from dropsy because of an attack from Varuna. When Rohita received the news that his father was suffering, he wanted to return to the capital. But King Indra prevented him from doing so. Following the instructions of Indra, Rohita lived in the forest for 6 years and then returned home. Rohita purchased Sunasepta, the second son of Ajagrita, and gave him to his father Harichandra as a sacrificial animal. In this way, the sacrifice was performed. Varuna and the other demigods were pacified, and Harichandra was freed from disease. In this sacrifice, Vishwamitra was the Hota priest, Jamajagni was the Advaryu, Vashishta was the Brahmana, and Agastya was the Udgata. King Indra, being very satisfied by the sacrifice, gave Harichandra a golden chariot, and Vishwamitra gave him transcendental knowledge. Thus, Sukadeva Goswami describes how Harichandra achieved perfection. Okay, we read text number 1. Shri Sukha Uvacha Mandatu Putra Pravaro Mandatu Putra Pravaro Yom Barisha Prakirtitaha Yom Barisha Prakirtitaha Pitamahena Pravirto Pitamahena Pravirto Yauvanasvastu tatsutaha Yauvanastastu tatsutaha Haristastasya putrabun Haristastasya putrabun Mandati prabhavara imi Mandartir prabhavara imi Sri Sukha Uvacha Mandatu putra pravaro Mandatu putra pravaro Yom Barisha Prakirtitaha Yom Barisha Prakirtitaha Pitamahena Pravirto Yauvanastu tatsutaha Haristastasya putrobun Haristastasya putrabun Mandartir prabhavara imi Mandartir prabhava imi Sukha Uvacha Mandata putra prabhavaro Om Ambarisha Prakirtitaha Pitamahena Pravirto Yevanastu Tasutaha Aristastas Putro Mandate Prabharai. Matajis? We'll see the word for word meaning. Sri Sukha Vacha. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Mandatu of Mandata, Putra Prabhavara, the prominent son, Ya, the one who, Ambarisa, by the name Ambarisa, Prakritaha, celebrated, Pitamahena, by his grandfather, Yavanasva, Pravarta, accepted, Yavanishvaha, named Yavanishva, Tu, and Tatsuta, the son of Ambrisha, Harita, by the name Harita, Tasya, of Yavanasva, Putra, the son, Abdu, became Mandartir in the dynasty of Mandata, Pravara, most prominent, Imi, all of them. Translation only by Srila Prabhupada. Sukadeva Goswami said, the most prominent among the sons of Mandata was he who was celebrated as Ambarisa. Ambarisa was accepted as a son by his grandfather, Yavanasva. Ambarisa's son was Yavanasva, and Yavanasva's son was Harita. In Mandata's dynasty, Ambarisa, Harita, and Yavanasva were very prominent. No purport for these verses, so we'll be going through up to text number 7. No purport. And then text number 7, we stop and we'll read the purport. I'm reading only the translation. The translation of text 2. The serpent brothers of Narmada gave Narmada to Purukutsa. Being sent by Vasiki, she took Purukutsa to the lower region of the universe. Oh, of course, there is a small purport here in this one. Before describing the descendant of Purukutsa, the son of Mandata, Sukadeva Goswami first describes how Purukutsa was married to Narmada, who was induced to take him to the lower region of the universe. Text number 3. There, in Rasatala, the lower region of the universe, Purukutsa, being empowered by the Lord Vishnu, was able to kill all the Gandharvas who deserved to be killed. Purukutsa received the benediction from the serpents that anyone who remembers this history of his being brought by Narmada to the lower region of the universe will be assured of safety from the attack of snakes. Text number 4. The son of Purukutsa was Trasadyasu, who was the father of Anaranya. Anaranya's son was Haryasva, the father of Praruna. Praruna was the father of Tribandana. Text number 5 and 6. The son of Tribandana was Satyavrata, who was celebrated by the name Trisangu. Because he kidnapped the daughter of a Brahmana, when she was being married, his father cursed him to become a Sandala, lower than a Sudra. Thereafter, by the influence of Vishwamitra, he went to the higher planetary system, the heavenly planet, in his material body. But because of his powerless of the demigods, he fell back downwards. Nonetheless, by the grace of Vishwamitra, he did not fall all the way down. Even today, we can still be seen. He can still be seen hanging in the sky with the head downwards. Is anyone able to see Trisangu? With a microscope? Because it said, Bhagavatam is saying, even till today, he is hanging upside down. Because Vishwamitra, by his power, See, Trisangu had a desire to visit a heavenly, not to visit, to be there only with the mortal body, with his body. But he could not go, He has to go only after death, after the body is burnt or buried, whatever it may be, Then he can go. But in this lifetime, he wants to go. And therefore, he requested Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra, by his power of austerity, was able to lift him up to the heavenly planet with the same body. But Indra did not like it. So Indra kicked him back. So he fell down. Again, Vishwamitra sent him up. Again, Indra kicked him up. In that way, he was going up and down. Trisangu means stuck in the middle, And therefore, what happened? He was still hanging now upside down. That's what it said. Okay. We come to text number 7, which is a verse of today. So tomorrow, whoever is a Bhagavatam speaker, they can take verse 8 onwards. The son of Trisangu was Harichandra. Because of Harichandra, there was a quarrel between Vishwamitra and Vashishta, who for many years fought one another, having been transformed into birds. Interesting purport by Srila Prabhupada. Let us listen attentively. Vishwamitra and Vasishtha were always inimical. Formerly, Vishwamitra was a Kshatriya, and by undergoing severe austerities, he wanted to become a Brahmana, but Vasishtha would not agree to accept him. In this way, there was always disagreement between the two. Later, however, Vasishtha accepted him because of Vishwamitra's quality of forgiveness. Once, Harichandra performed a Yagya for which Vishwamitra was the priest. But Vishwamitra, being angry at Harichandra, took away all his possession and claiming them as a contribution of Dakshina. Vasishtha, however, did not like this. And therefore, a fight arose between Vasishtha and Vishwamitra. The fighting became so severe that each one of them cursed the other. One of them said, "May you become a bird." And the other said, "May you become a duck." Thus, both of them became birds and ducks. Birds, and continued fighting for many years because of Harichandra. We can see that such a great mystic yogi as Saubhara Muni, as Saubhara, became a victim of sense gratification, and such great sages as Vasishtha and Vishwamitra became birds. This is the material world. A Brahma Bhavana Loka Punar Avirtino Arjuna. Within this material world or within the universe, however elevated one may be in material qualities, one must suffer the conditions of birth, death, old age and disease. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Therefore, Krishna says that this material world is simply miserable. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. The Bhagavatam says, Padam Padam Tad Vipadam. At every step, there is danger. Therefore, because a Krishna conscious movement, this is a mission statement of Srila Prabhupada, he concludes with that. Because the Krishna conscious movement provides the opportunity for the living beings to get out of this material world simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This movement is the greatest benediction in human society. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahim Dadati Sva Padantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we'll start the lecture. So, here, if you see, so many names are being discussed, isn't it? The names of so many kings, rulers, emperors, their family, their generations, their descendants, so many names are there. So, we may wonder, why we have to learn all these names, these unfamiliar names. We do not even know them. Aranya, Trasadyasu, all this. We do not know the names. It's given there. We are so unfamiliar with the names, but yet we are learning. Okay? Question number 1 for all of you. And 2, if Maharaj Parishit had only 7 days to live, if Sukadeva Goswami is giving all these names, which one will he remember? Aranya or Krishna's name? Trasadyasyu or Gauranga's name? Isn't it? 7 days he has got. Why do you give him so much assignments of big names, It's a big assignment. People who are as a student, they know, right? Prabhu, are you a student? No. Okay. Maybe I thought, because we are reminded of assignments, Then, why do these genealogical names or tables or historical data, how it is going to improve our devotion? Because it is come in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, which is Amala Purana. Amala Purana means what? Spotless Purana. Spotless means pure. Pure means transcendental. So therefore, it is a transcendental literature, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And why this history of names? Is it going to improve our devotion? Or we are just going to read? We are going to see that today. And then, if the emphasis, Mataji, you have to mind, okay? Some noise we can tolerate, Other noise, you have to be mindful, yes. So, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is a transcendental literature, okay? It focuses on personalities who are interested in going back to Godhead. If you do not want to go back to Godhead, please do not read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. You can read Harry Potter. That's also Hare is there. But this is a transcendental literature which is going to take you back to Godhead. In that literature, why so many of historical names? Yes? These are all the questions that is coming up in your mind, isn't it? When we read all the 7 verses, 7 texts today, So many names. Once again, why I'm telling you so many names? Because it's a reminder for us. Purukutsa, one of the son of Mantaksha, he married Narmada, the sister of snakes. Both their combination gave rise to Trasadyasyu, their son is Trasadyasyu. Now Trasadyasyu's son is Anaranya. Anaranya's son is Hariyasva. Hariyasva's son is Praruna. Praruna's son is Tribandana. Tribandana's son is Satyavrata or Trisangu. Trisangu's son is Harichandra. Now this chapter is going to dwell on Harichandra. So why so many names? Simply, if Sukadeva Goswami said, blah, blah, we are going to talk about Harichandra. It's easier for us, isn't it? Okay. Now, we are going to cover that in terms of 5 points, okay? The first point is, the names of these personalities trigger our devotional sentiment. How? See, we may not know the names. Mataji, I think I have to concentrate, okay? Sorry. Because I have got a limit on I am not a Uttama Adhikari to take all that, because I've got a limit. So therefore, see, what happens is, how the names of these personalities trigger devotional sentiment. For example, we may not know these names. We do not relate to these names, relate to these personalities, because we do not know. However, if we discover the names, and if we learn more about them, then what happens is that will inspire us to make some liking in our devotion service. For example, what I mean is, in terms of their character, in terms of the qualities, in terms of the relationship, if we know about them, that will inspire us to enhance our devotion. For example, in the case of Harichandra, we may not know Harichandra, but by knowing about this chapter, which is 7, about what Harichandra did and how finally he achieved perfection, right? And because he achieved perfection, that is what is interested in us. Because Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is talking about transcendental personalities. They are not talking about mundane person who comes in the history and goes away. Like Hitler or whoever may be. The great rulers, Alexander. They came and they're gone away. That's not much to talk about them. But these transcendental personalities in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam are the persons we are talking still now, because they've all gone back to Godhead. They're transcendental in nature. They are in the spiritual energy now, and therefore we're discussing. Okay? So all these personalities, by talking, it gives us an inspiration in our devotion. That is why so many names are there. 1. 2. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam authenticity provides transcendental incidents. Okay? Now, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is the most established literature in terms of authenticity and authoritative manner. It's well respected, and it is the most authenticity, where we can see that the incidents which are described in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam are transcendental incidents, because it is involving Lord and his devotees, isn't it? It is transcendental literature. All the incidents which are described in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is transcendental literature. And therefore, we can say that Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is a factual book of transcendental incidents that has happened in the past. It is not a history. It may be a form of history, but these are the real incidents. It's a factual book. It is not like, again, Harry Potter. A lady sitting down in the coffee bar, she gets a thought and she writes volumes of pages, and she becomes very famous. It's not like that. Sukadeva Goswami did not say that in a coffee bar, nor Vyasadeva wrote in a China bar. Yeah? It is transcendental literature. It is connecting the Lord and his devotees. And therefore, what happens is, because of discussing about the past activities of the devotees, this will nourish our devotion. In fact, one of the statutory rule of any Purana is that, what is the rule of any Purana? Any Purana, one of the rules is, it should give transcendental data, including historical data or genealogical table. It should provide. If it doesn't provide, then it is not considered as authentic in terms of Puranas. Okay? And Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is providing, and that is a reason. Okay? 2. 3. Reference. Although this genealogical table or the history of the data of the persons and the descendants are not important for our Śrīmad Bhāgavatam reading, yet it helps us to understand the Vedic literature or the Vedic culture in depth because of doing cross-reference. For example, in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the story of Trisangu is mentioned. Now, Trisangu is just about 2 or 3 lines has been mentioned, but not much history is mentioned. That history you can refer by referring to cross-verifying Ramayana. Valmiki Ramayana, Trisangu is mentioned because he comes under what dynasty? Ishvaku. Mandata, of course, lineage. Ishvaku dynasty comes. So therefore, he is very important in the line of Ramachandra, Lord Ramachandra, Trisangu. So, by cross-referencing, Srimad, this names helps us so that we can cross-reference other literature. And also, all transcendental literature must be studied in conjunction with other literature. For example, in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam purport, you can see that Srila Prabhupada refers to Bhagavad Gita. See? Here also, correct? In this text, Srila Prabhupada is saying, what does he say? Bhagavad Gita verse, A Brahma Bhavana Loka. He is referring, why in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Bhagavad Gita reference is given. And also he said, Padam Padam Yat Pipadam. He is again referring Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So, all the spiritual literatures have to be studied in conjunction with other spiritual books. And therefore, these names helps us to cross-refer and read other literature and know about it. And then, understanding the rareness of a devotee. For example, what happens is, in this narration, we did up to 7 verse, so many 8 or 10 names were there, isn't it? So many names were there. We come to so many names, like we read, and then we come and stop at a point, like Harichandra. Then what happens? At that time, the Bhagavatam is going to give an elaborate description of the person, like Harichandra, or whoever may be, at that point in time, which helps us to focus that this particular devotee, among the list of devotees, is so rare. Yeah? And then we can imagine, or we can think, or we can understand that how devotional service is very rare. Only so, out of the list of 100 or 200, only 1 or 2 can take up devotion service very seriously as pure bhakti. Yeah? So, okay. How do we understand that? As an example. For example, in the lineage of Dhruva Maharaj, so many kings were there after Dhruva Maharaj. And then Anga was there, Vena was there. Yeah? All of you know. Anga, one of the kings from the lineage of Dhruva Maharaj, was a very pious king. He ruled his subjects very nicely. But unfortunately, he married a lady who is a daughter of irreligion. So therefore, Anga's son, Vena, became very notorious. You know what? This has been described in the 4th canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the notorious character of Vena. Why that is described in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam? With a purpose. Yeah? Now Anga, son Vena, why is notorious is, Harigriva, how old are you? 13 years old. How many friends do you have? You don't know? You don't have any friends, or you have friends? Many friends. So therefore you should say many. You say no friends. You have many friends. So okay, how many are there roughly? 5 or 10 minimum? There are so many that you cannot count. You want a calculator or something? Anyone has got a calculator? Yeah. How many friends you have got? Many, just say that. Many friends. Okay, 20 friends. Now, say for example, while eating prasadam, pizza party was there. While you're eating, one of your friends says, hey, that pizza, I like it. He takes and grabs and eats. Your pizza, your friend grabs it and eats. At that time, what you do? You go to the kitchen, take a knife and cut off his head. Will you do that? But Vena did that. Vena, when he was like you, he will pray with the friends, okay? If the friends beat him, if they outsmart, what he will do? He take a knife and kill him. This incident has been described in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Vena, so notorious he was. And therefore, what did the sages do at that time? They killed him by telling a mantra, and they took a grass, tell a mantra, and throw him off. He died. Just one grass killed him off. This is the power of mantra, Vedic mantra. And then, after they killed the sage, they realized, oh, this guy did not have any offspring. He does not have any children. And how do the parampara continue? There should be a king to rule, isn't it? He did not have any son. And therefore, the sages, what they did, they churned his body. This is all there. With milk, churning, And then, through the body came, who came? Prithu Maharaj. And Prithu Maharaj has exhibited such wonderful qualities. What are the qualities Prithu Maharaj say? Just to name a few, forgive. He was very, very, very forgiveness. He adopted the principle of forgiveness because he was going to do Yashwamedha Yagya. But when he did 99, and the last Yagya when he was doing, Indra really came and annoyed him. He stopped it. But he did not mind because Lord Vishnu said, don't bother. Just leave it, fine. You're doing this for pride? No. Just leave it. Okay, forgiveness. He forgave Indra. Then, pridelessness. When he was elected as the Premier of Victoria, in the election, no, he was ruled. All the citizens, they offered him so many things. They adored him. Prithu Maharaj, citizen, they loved him like anything. They gave so many gifts, including demigods. But he was very humble. If someone gives us $500, how proud we become, isn't it? Yeah? But this person, king, got so many gifts, but he was very humble. And then he ruled his subjects, his kingdom very nicely. So this is the character of wonderful qualities of Prithu Maharaj. So what I was trying to say is, we read a lot of verses, King Anga, Vena, all this, and then when we come to Prithu Maharaj, we stop here. And the Bhagavatam explains more about him. So in that way, the wonderful qualities of devotees are described in Bhagavatam, and through that we think, oh, all these names are so important because all these names have come, and finally we got Prithu Maharaj, who has got wonderful qualities in Bhagavatam, and that is able to also increase our devotion by reading that. Okay? And then, what is the other final point is, it reveals a short lifespan. So many names are given there in Bhagavatam, What it reveals is, by talking about the name, all these kings, okay, once upon a time, they had power. They had riches. They had influence. Very, very influence over the people. But what happens? Over a period of time, they have to die because time is cruel. It will kill everyone over time. Yeah? No one can live in this world for a very long time. Once your time is up, finished. It crushes. Basically, time crushes everyone. Like a sugar cane. Have you seen a sugar cane juice? How it is crushed, In the same way, we are all crushed. We are waiting to be crushed. This is the power of time because time is an impersonal aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this world. So therefore, what happens is, what's making so much noise? So therefore, we all have to die one day. So history tells us what? Everything must pass. Everything should go, continue, pass. And then the only thing that is left over is a long list of names. If it is material, again the names will be forgotten. If it is spiritual, it will be in the transcendental literature, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. But many materialistic people want their name where? In the Guinness Book of World Records. Once, remember, a few years back, too much noise. Once, I saw someone sent me a clipping. In that clipping, one man had a nail with growing like this and this and this, like a spiral. It took about 40 years for him to grow. And because he wants his name in the Guinness Book of World Records, he grew that. And wherever he goes, he puts his name, he puts his the fingers into a chanting bag. But he doesn't chant. You understand? We put our fingers into the chanting bag. Why, Mataji? Why do we put our hand? For what? Not to show the nails? To chant, isn't it? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So once when this devotee sent me this man with a hand in the chanting bag, I thought he's a big yogi. He's wearing saffron clothes. But on reading the content, I came to know he's protecting his nail, which has grown for 40 years. And he has put his name in the Guinness Book of World Records. Do anyone want to put your name in the Guinness Book of World Records? You can grow your nail. Another person I saw, his beard is almost touching his, like leg or something. This is again one more Guinness Book of World Records. Another person with a mush. It is going like this. What is all this nonsense? And this Guinness book is entertaining all that. Yeah? Because in the material world, if you do not know Krishna, all this will happen. All about body. Yeah? We know body is important, but not like this, Prabhu. Just imagine, a person, please think, a person has grown the nail for 40 years, Mataji, like this, and is putting his fingers into the chanting bag, both. I thought this guy is chanting with both the fingers. How powerful, he's chanting 64 rounds. But on discovery, I found that he's protecting his nail, Prabhu. What kind of thing is going on? So therefore, our Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is so important. Very, very important. Yeah. Then, what I also thought is, apart from discussing this 5 points, right? Do you remember the 5 points? Anyone? Again, I go through that 5 points only so that you remember why this genealogical table is important, why so many names, why is the descendant of so many people, yeah, why the family generations, why it is mentioned is because of 5 reasons, okay? One is, the names of these personalities trigger our devotional sentiment. Because at that time when we read, we may not know. But after reading them, we know, yes, this personality is great. I am not like them. And therefore, the names are in the Bhagavatam, and that will induce devotional inspiration for us. And 2, the authenticity of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Whatever is mentioned in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is nothing but the factual book of transcendental incidents which has happened, which by discussing, we can go back to Godhead. 3, reference. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, a lot of names may be given as a reference in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, but by cross-verifying different Vedic literature, we can understand the personality well. Because in other literatures, this elaborate names or genealogical table may not be given. For example, I said Trisangu. Trisangu, not many people know. How do you know more about him? By referring some other Vedic scripture like Ramayana or something. That is reference. 4, understanding the rareness of devotee. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam may give a big list, but at the end, there is one devotee, pure devotee, who is very, very powerful. So through him, we learn his character, his transcendental qualities, and that will help us to nourish our devotion. And finally, it reveals the short lifespan of people. So many people, names are given, because all people have come and they have gone. Now they are not existing. But we are still discussing these people because they are people who are connected to Krishna. They are devotees of the Lord. They are not ordinary people. By talking about ordinary people, we don't get any benefit. Yeah? By talking about Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, we get benefit because it is in the transcendental literature. Okay? All right. Then, if you look at the translation or the overview we read, there, Srila Prabhupada finally says, yeah, that Harichandra, he performed a Yagya. And in that Yagya, there were 4 personalities. Now, it was something different for me, so I thought I read about it. Then I thought I'll discuss, so that it's a learning curve for us. That is, in that sacrifice, it's mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in the overview, Vishwamitra was the Hota priest, Jamajagni was a Advaryu, Vashishta was a Brahmana, and Agastya was the Udgati. So I've collected some information. Now, because we do not know anything in this world, we know only computer, okay? We know about RAM, chip, how much memory, how to transfer data, what internet service you've got. Nothing else we know, okay? This is how we are degraded. But in the Vedic scripture, for doing any sacrifice, there are 4 priests required. Any sacrifice, it may be beneficial to you, Prabhu, because you do Yagya also, no? Prabhu, Sri Vijaya Prabhu, you only. You were doing Yagya. New Year, you did Yagya. So it may be helpful also. So 4 priests should be there in any Yagya. Okay? In Vedic Yagya I'm talking about. Where the first one is, the priest is known as Hotri. And Vishwamitra was doing that, that at that level of Hotri. What is Hotri means? He is a priest who sings, hums from Rig Veda. Okay, he chants some hums from Rig Veda. And he is a priest and he is associated with the eastern direction. He sits in the eastern direction and sings that. Okay, that is very essential for any sacrifice. Then, Advaryu is also another kind of a priest. He will be singing in Yajurveda. And his direction is western. It's a western suburb. Western. And the person who's in charge for that sacrifice was Jamajagni. Okay? And this guy, he sets up all the physical paraphernalia. We'll have a helping hand, Prabhu. This person is supposed to set up all the physical, putting the yagya, fruits, everything. So this person does that. Who is that? Advaryu. Then the third person is Udgati. He is also an assistant priest. He is associated with chanting the Samaveda. Samaveda. And he is associated in the northern direction. And in this case, it was Agastya. Okay? He was doing that role. And the fourth one is Brahmana. He is a chief of all priests. He is a main person who oversees all the 3. And he corrects them. People, do like this, do like this. He's an overseer, right? He's a manager, that Brahmana. And he controls all the other 3 priests. And his direction is south. And in this case, it was Vashishta. And he has to supervise and make sure that all the yagyas is done correctly, according to procedure. So that is a Brahmana does. It's also known as Prohita. Okay? So, the 4 class of these priests were mentioned here. They were mentioned in Ramayana, Mahabharata, and other Puranas. So, the reference is there. Okay, that is why Srila Prabhupada said. Okay? So, it is okay. We had so many names today. I know that you are all tired just listening to the names. Yeah? So, we'll stop here. And thank you very much for your attention. Now, if you got any questions, comments, corrections, please, before we stop this lecture. Anything else, guys? Yes, Mataji. Can you give the mic to Mataji? Ask a very simple question, Mataji.
Thank you for the beautiful class, Prabhu. When you came, I know it's going to be a beautiful class. Can you briefly say Harichandra's lineage? Just briefly.
Harichandra lineage.
Yes. How? Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
It's going. This chapter is dedicated, Mataji. But what happens is, whatever is in the first 7 verses, it is said that, okay. Now Mandatas. Who is Mandata, first of all? What is the connection between the previous chapter and this chapter? Because Saubhara Muni's father-in-law was Mandata.
Mandata's
Daughter, yeah. Mandata's 50 daughters, Saubhara Muni married. He was a great mystic yogi, but he married 50 daughters, see? These days, if you marry one person, that is enough for us. He cannot afford 50 daughters. But Saubhara Muni was very powerful mystic yogi. He married 50 daughters. And therefore, Saubhara Muni, father-in-law is Mandata. Now, Mandata's lineage is given here in this chapter. So, Mandata had many sons. One of the sons is Purukutsa. Now, Purukutsa married a snake girl. A girl. Don't ask me more definitions because I did not write Bhagavatam. But it said that he married a snake girl. Okay? That's what sister of a snake she married. And her name was Narmada. So, Purushukta and Narmada, their couple, they got a son, Tradasyasyu. Trasadyasyu. That is son's name. Now, Trasadyasyu got another son. They don't talk about the family, wife and all that. Trasadasyu's son was Anaranya. Now Anaranya had a son. His name was Hariyasva. Hariyasva had a son. His name is Praruna. Praruna had a son. His name is Tribandana. Tribandana had a son. His name is Satyavrata or Trisangu. Trisangu's son is Harichandra. Here, Harichandra's pastimes are mentioned. And how, later on, he attained perfection, which means he went back to Godhead. That is what we're discussing.
You see, the Harichandra never say a lie, always says the truth.
Correct.
It's the same Harichandra.
But the stories we hear about Harichandra elsewhere, apart from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, may not be authentic. They add some masala. Yeah? All this, like Bollywood songs, all this they'll add. But Bhagavatam is authentic. So if Bhagavatam says Harichandra did like that, yes. He got dropsy, he got the disease, means yes, like that, So that is what we understand from that, okay? So the point is, Mataji, so many names are there, some 8 generations are given. But Harichandra is famous because he went back to Godhead. So that is being explained here. Okay? Okay, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you very much once again. Okay, we'll stop here. Gantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Hari.